So Facebook told Fox Business that the Wall Street Journal incorrectly implied it is actively asking financial services companies, what you and I call banks, for financial transaction data, your personal stuff. But the company does admit that, like many online outfits, it partners with banks and credit card companies to offer certain services like customer chat. But any way you slice it, Facebook's responsibility when it comes to handling your data has raised alarms. Here to discuss all of this are Shauna Glenzer, a tech analyst and Crowd Scout CMO, along with Kristen Ruby, social media expert and Ruby Media Group president. Shauna, let me start with you. Do we believe Facebook when they say, there's nothing here, don't pay any attention to the man behind the curtain, or the woman in this case, because their CEO is a woman?
Yeah, exactly. You know, I think that Facebook has good intentions here. It is awful timing for this news to come out. But look, they're trying to make, well, they have good intentions in that they're trying to get more people on Messenger, right? Trying to make it more convenient.
1.3 billion monthly active users.
Yeah, well, yeah. So they're trying to make it more convenient for people to access bank, information. And so I think that it is, I don't think that there's malintent here, but it is certainly not good timing for the company or for this news to come out.
So, Kris, is it bad timing?
Of course. I mean, it's very bad timing, and Facebook, the news just keeps getting worse and worse by the day with Facebook and the, sort of a propaganda machine around it. But at the end of the day, if Facebook wants to remain competitive and offer services, sort of what a Venmo offers, right? They obviously need to have your financial data and information. I mean, I've paid personally numerous vendors through Facebook Messenger. How can they do that if I'm not going to hand over my data?
And we, to both of you, and then I want to get to Alex Jones and what's going on with him and Facebook, our financial data is sold, traded, and out there. Not Facebook, the credit bureaus. Every time I swipe a credit card, they know exactly what we're buying. So how's this any different?
It's actually not any different at all. And at the end of the day, people need to make a decision, right? If you really want technology, you have to be willing to give up your privacy. And to think anything other than that is really a fallacy.
Okay, so let Shannon go. You were going to say something?
All I was going to say was, yes, there's this trade-off for personalization, for convenience, and your data, and that's going to continue to be the future. All right,
I want to talk about something that was in an op-ed today. David French, Alex Jones, InfoWars, or whatever he calls it. It's a deplorable site. A lot of people, I think, and I used that word. I know the tweets are going to come, and people are going to say horrible things. But look, not a man of integrity. But banning him from Facebook has riled some feathers. So in this op-ed today, the good news is that tech companies don't have to rely on vague, malleable, and hotly contested definitions of hate speech to deal with conspiracy theorists like Mr. Jones. The far better option would be to prohibit libel or slander on their platforms. And that was David French writing. I believe he's also he's a lawyer who deals with free speech issues, but also a writer at the National Review. Shauna, let me ask you. Facebook's a private company. There's no First Amendment right to be on Facebook. So good riddance, Alex Jones. Or is there something else at play here to consider?
Hey, listen, Facebook is a place where you have freedom of, expression on Facebook. It's not a free speech protected place per se. And I think that what you're seeing here is Facebook drawing the line between, misinformation and hate speech. And I actually kind of disagree. I think that with David French, I think it's actually easier to draw a line around hateful speech and violent rhetoric than it is to talk about libel and
I want to get Kris on this. Why doesn't somebody just have a free-for-all social media? No no restrictions whatsoever.
Yeah, so here's really what the problem is. If we look at the facts of the situation, what you have is Silicon Valley is largely liberal. It is not politically diverse. And when you couple that with journalism, we have a real problem right now because social media companies are becoming they're taking the place of real journalists, right? So who is determining what is real news?
No, they're not.
What is fake
I would disagree with you. They're not taking the place. They just retweet or they repost what we write. And if conservatives could launch, if this truly is the problem, launch conservative Facebook and then put all the stuff you want on.
That would be great if there was conservative Facebook, but so far
Koch brothers got a lot of money.
So far there isn't. Yeah, and it's a problem. And this whole Alex Jones situation is a nightmare and the beginning of what could be mass censorship.
Perhaps. I got to get to another. You know what? Let's not get to the other issue. Shauna, would it be mass censorship or come on? There's no right to be on Facebook.
Listen, to answer your question about why there's just not a free-for-all place, no one would go there. There's so much hate. There's so much. People don't want to necessarily be surrounded by hateful speech all the time. Facebook and Twitter faced mass criticism at the end of last year about violent videos, violent content, and they are taking measures to stop that. And I think they're doing that because they don't want to lose users. They want people to come back.
Last word, Kris.
The problem is who is determining what hate speech is. That is what the real issue here. Where is the hate speech, right? If that's the case, why don't you have the National Enquirer off Facebook? Why don't you have everyone banned on Facebook who says something you don't like? That's what the real issue is.
Please do not ban the cat and the shark, costume on the vacuum. I would be lost without it. I apologize for ending on a joke like that, but listen, Kris and Shauna, I appreciate your being here, and if the Koch brothers are watching, launch the conservative, social media so we can get past all of this mishigas.